Ready, aim, release! Anyone see my mammoth? Right, there we go. Hello. As you can see, I'm back for the week. I'm still doing all of the stuff, as you can tell. It would not be Tourney Ground if I wasn't running a little bit behind, of course. My dog exploits always happen to make it onto Tourney Ground, and today I was taking the dog out, and some of our friends have just got a puppy yesterday, so we had to give the puppy attention. My partner's been in bed, so she's recovering, and I was alone, and then I overstayed my welcome and had to rush back, and oh god. Anyway, we're back, we're here, it's Monday, it's the 6th of September, technically the first Tourney Ground of September. The first Tourney Ground, strictly speaking, in quarter 3. And obviously all the quarter 3 the things are out. We're going to go through the quarter 3 stuff. I'm going to share my thoughts on them. I'm going to share Arlo's thoughts on them. I'm going to respond to a hell of a lot of questions. And we're going to see where it goes from there. It can't possibly be too bad. And yeah, in case people had forgotten, over there it's just a black box today. There's no Carlo. So yeah, pretty sad in that sense. So we'll share a moment for no Carlo while he's on holiday. Cares about him anyway. Right, okay then. So, dive into the news from the week. The news of the week. Yeah. Anyway, you can tell I've gone absolutely mental in my, I say old age, I'm not that old. So, last week, essentially nothing happened. No actual news, nothing happened between last Monday and today, right? At least nothing that we expected, nothing newsworthy in that sense, but we have had the most important, if not the biggest thing to come out of Q3, which is the Q3 releases are here. They are here, and they're not just here, but they are being released. Not so much in the UK, we'll get onto that later on, but the Q3 releases are being released. There was an element of drama around the guy who shared the unboxings and the pictures that he'd found. So yeah, that's a thing. That's been resolved. I think it was just a miscommunication, more so than anything else. But yeah, he's back in the group. A guy called Eric, who's I think based in Singapore or Indonesia or Thailand, essentially. Is the black box really that much of a downgrade? No, Lucas. He is effectively just as aggressive as he normally would be. So yeah, I'll no, obviously not. I don't, you know, for what all that I complain about Carlo, I don't know what I'd do without him. I'll say that. I know exactly what I'd do without him, but you know, I won't go into that. Enjoy life is the right answer. Anyway, so I'm gonna get up all of these things that we've got to go through. This whole session, if you will, or this whole first section. Get my words right. This whole first bit of the session will indeed be a look at. Is it Singapore, Vlad? Cheers. A look at all of the kind of reveals, all of the point costs, because that's the thing, right? There's been new stuff which we'll look at, but actually the biggest thing is that most of it's been point cost release. So we'll definitely look at the point cost reveals, what's going on there. So let's have a little look. I have set all this up prior, so I should be able to just run through these. Of course, it wouldn't be my there we go. Wouldn't be my stream, it wouldn't be my setup, if it wasn't for absolutely fantasticness. I can't remember if this is automatically go or not. So let's pull them into the center, make them nice. Tell I spent a long time preparing today, can't you? Anyway, right. So This is our first card. I have no idea what order they're going to come in, guys. This is going to be just as much fun for me as it is for you. That's how fun this is going to be. Not very. Right. Butchers up first, or the Brigands up first, the Clegane Brigands. They came in at 7 points, right? 7 points. Do we care? I think we probably should. Wow. Dan. I will come back to that, Dan. I will definitely come back to that. Completely missed this, Charles. How do you miss this? This is all over on the Facebook. If you missed this, like it. It's all over Facebook. How much free folk talk will be unleashed upon us now that Carlo is missing? Considering you asked, Celia, I can only assume you want lots. So yeah, we'll do lots, Celia, because you've clearly asked with your question. So, yeah, this actual card then. We've already dived into it. We gave our thoughts on this last week as to where this unit would be, and it came out at 7, and I'm fairly certain with it being at 7, nobody cares. Yep. Good. Everyone happy. Fantastic. Right, let's move on. The next one is the Frozen Shore Chariot. This one came out at 4 points. Again, we talked about this a lot last week. You saw my thoughts. I've had some rethink on this unit. I do think it's useful. I don't think you should see it massively spammed. I think some people are going to be like overkill and run 6. Don't do that. I do think this is valuable in a 2 or 3 chariot setup. 4 might work. I think it might be overkill, but it might work. So yeah, these Frozen Shore Chariots. Yeah, they're probably too good. At 4 points, I think these are problematic. I'll be honest. They give us so much. Give free folk access to so much stuff that they wouldn't normally access. Yeah, I think this is going to be problematic for the game personally. I think it's more importantly going to be problematic for free folk. What it does do, these guys are very much playable into free folk now. I think, sorry, Night's Watch. I think you have solutions to Night's Watch because the chariots can go pick on the conscripts, go pick them off, get around the flanks of crossbowmen potentially. You know, force the crossbowmen to make a commitment to kill them, which is fine. Like that happens. But it just introduces such a maneuverable object to the game that can just pick apart things like conscripts, where it can just do lots of damage and stop that healing from coming through. You know, yeah, this unit is gonna be good. I don't know if they're gonna be top tier deck nat, but they are probably going to definitely solidify 3rd. Like if they don't solidify 3rd with shots into Night's Watch, and of course they've got shots into Targaryens as it stands already, I think they'll become very firmly the 3rd faction. I probably think they overtake Lannisters a little bit in that sense. I still think Lannisters are vying for 3rd, but Lannisters haven't got a hope in hell against these things. Like Lannisters just lose the Frozen Shore Chariots. Like they just lose. So yeah, I don't know. I don't know how that's going to come out. Yeah, I've just had a thought. The Lannister matchup is made a lot easier with these. It's actually insane how good these are against Lannisters. I didn't even think about the Lannister matchup. So yeah, at 4, nuts. Absolutely nuts. We've got not just those from Free Folk, we've got a load of other Free Folk stuff. We have, yeah, I mean, probably the next thing which people care about. See if this works. There we go. Mag. We already knew it was 9 points. I'm not going to spend a lot of time talking about Mag. We did last week. But we are going to talk about his deck. Deck has been now revealed. If you haven't seen the leaks prior to today, the leaked files had his deck in. I don't think the leaked file deck changed significantly to this deck. I I'd have to go back and do a cross comparison. But I don't really care as well, to be honest. So yeah. Yeah, Lucas, I think Spearwives are still the powerhouse unit. Yeah, and yeah, the chariots are rubbish against solos. The big thing, the absolutely nuts thing here is that they can tie down enemy cavalry. Personally, I believe you should use a chariot to charge an enemy cavalry unit and hold it in place. Because once enemy cavalry are stuck not charging, usually you just can come in and obliterate them with your superior numbers. The problem is catching them, or them coming in and getting a charge on you and just annihilating a unit on the charge. If you can prevent that, it's easy days. So yeah. Yeah, we'll see how that goes. Anyway, let's move on to Mag's deck then. So, we've got Blitz. For any monster unit activates, they become vulnerable, and they get +2 and can reroll charge dice. I mean, it's nice. Not an auto charge though, is it? It's not an auto 6. Reroll with +2 movement, 5 movement base on a giant would put you at 7. Your grit potentially moving 8. Rerolls. With rerolls, you can probably comfortably take on a 3+. Like, feel right about that. So it's an 11-inch charge, which I guess is the same as an auto 6. But the thing is, it's not auto. Like, that's the thing. It's not a guaranteed charge. There is still options where you fail this. So that's problematic. I think it's fine. Like, it's not a brilliant card. Like, it's not a Rush of Aggression style, like this is an auto 6 you're in kind of card, but it is a decent card. I can't complain about Blitz whatsoever. And certainly, it makes those 8, 9 charges that you were going to take on a giant much more reliable. Like, way more reliable. So yeah, you're probably fine. Mammoths, their base 6 movement, it makes them go up. The vulnerable kind of comes in. Yeah. Take a 4 with a reroll, Jesse. Yeah, a 4 with a reroll is not terrible. I don't like taking a 2+ if I can help it. Never mind a 3+. But yeah. On a mammoth, it's all right. The problem is mammoths are, generally speaking, just weaker units than giants at being pointless. Getting into combat, they've only got 6 dice on the charge, with no keywords or anything else. Armor and things like that can go against them. I guess steer can be used on a mammoth. Double down on +1 dice and give it sundering, which is quite huge for a mammoth. When a friendly monster unit's activation, you're right. It is wrong, Nodnerb. In my blasé attitude, I said when a friendly monster unit activates. You are correct. The wording is incorrect. That's clearly a typo, and if this is what's on the actual cards, it's wrong. Anyway, Chieftain orders, start of the mag. Oh god, this is horrible as well. Jesus. Start of the Mag the Mighty's activation. Mag may replace his action with one friendly giant unit in long range, performs 1 action. This is strictly better than the issue commands cards that Tourney has, that's present in the neutral deck. I think Tywin gets it as well. Yeah, this is strictly better. It's any action to a friendly giant in long range, or a draw card, which is great. This card is fine. I don't think it's that spectacular. But it is a strictly better card than others have got in their decks, so I can't complain about it whatsoever. Yeah, thumbs up. Defiant Roar. When a friendly monster unit passes a morale test, target all enemies engaged with this unit, they become weakened. So this is better because the nature of monster morale being 4, 5, 6. This is strictly better than... Oh, he is the Mag the Mighty. Fair enough. I've never heard him as called the Mag. I just called him Mag. Defiant Roar is strictly better than Brathian Justice, which is the pass a morale test. Everyone engaged becomes vulnerable if you control Letters Heal 2. This is strictly better because vulnerable matters less to obviously monsters, and giving an opponent weakened raises your survivability on a monster. And with the certainly giants, with the ability for the two hit half combo thing, you're talking probably about a saving of 1 or 2 wounds on that weakened token in the vast majority of cases. The opportunity to give out more than one as well, so it kind of helps out activation. Yeah, this is a better card than it looks like, and I think this is fine. It was a joke, Jesse. Okay, fair enough. That feels me. Yeah, that's true, Charles. True, you're effectively wasting not just mag, but your commander's 9 point activation mag, right? So it is a bit more expensive. Yeah, you are right in saying that it is a worse activation to give away. And I agree, it hurts the faction more, but the card itself is better. I agree that there are a lot of situations where you don't want to use it. The irony being that card's really good in the late game, where mag might not be able to come and do something that another commander or another unit may be able to achieve. And specifically, if you want to like double down on you're getting into the late game, you need mag to stay on a point, and he's already killed the unit he's engaged with, so he just stood there. It's still good. I don't believe you'll play those mag forces into those styles of lists or those styles of objectives, really. But saying that, there's always opportunity to score points from sitting on an objective in most game modes. So yeah, I still think it has value. Because inherently your commander being on objectives is so valuable in the game right now. So yeah, I can see you using that. Not in the early turns, I think it's terrible. In the early turns, absolute garbage. But in the later turns, I can see it being very useful. Yeah. Anyway, Defiant Roar, really good card. I think this is better than it looks. Enrage. Again, start of a friendly monster unit's activation. This makes a little bit more sense. That unit suffers 2 wounds. Until the end of the turn, that unit may re-roll any attack dice and defenders become panicked. Now, this isn't bad. This like before I say anything, this isn't a bad card. It's just like this enables normal giants, right? You don't want to use this on 1/1 who gets rerolls, but he doesn't get anything for those 2 wounds he just took. You don't really want to use this on mag. You get rerolls, sure, but just took 2 wounds on a unit that's ideally not supposed to be dying. Using it on a normal giant makes a lot of sense. Because you double down, you're on D3 plus 2 wounds straight off the bat, assuming no other health loss. You're going to do damage. You know, it's not unreasonable whatsoever that you're going to remove a rank. Putting a panic token means you're more likely to see failed panic tests, but you've still got no panic modifiers in there. You know, there are no giants or monsters that give vicious, for example. Yeah, start take damage to do damage mechanic. Yeah, it is, Dan. Exactly. And yeah, Mag gives vicious, doesn't he? Just remember quickly. Yeah, so Mag gives vicious, but it's like Mag has the on death mechanic, but is killing your commander is killing your commander giving away a VP plus extra VPs in a lot of scenarios in a lot of cases? Is that really worth it? Probably not. You have to really like Clash of Kings. Yeah, I can see it. Like you just sit on an objective, you enrage, you kill your opponent, and you come back. Hey, win-win. Yeah, you're flying. Clash of Kings is a meme. You know, Clash of Kings is always a meme because of that exact reason. I don't think Mag takes advantage of that any more than some of the other units do. Hashtag Night's Watch. And now his watch has ended. Kill your commander off. Gets to come back, and you get to do two free actions with crossbows. Sorry, whatever you want. Crossbows or hunters. All right. Anyway, yeah. I think it's fine, but it's not great. It's not fantastic. Just a okay card. You wouldn't use it on. For what it's worth, you wouldn't really use it on mammoths either. That's kind of silly thing in my opinion. Yeah. Hull Boulder. When people said they wanted war machines in all factions, we got chariots, which, yeah, okay, they are war machines, but they're not war machines. Like, people think of war machines, right? People think catapults, they think ballistas, they think all of those kind of wicked things. Probably like gigantic, like what's it? The Greek flamethrowers and things like this. But yeah, no. We get hurling a boulder. This is a 1 dice attack that is on a 3+. That does D3 plus 1 for each remaining rank wounds, which basically this is a stone thrower with 1 dice. Fine. Now, what I think is kind of crazy about Hurlboulder, what I think is certainly very, very interesting with Hurlboulder is how you use this. This is not a do an attack action and replace. Yeah, the trigger is huge. This is the reason, by the way, that if I see a giant list that doesn't have Val in it, I'm pretty much just going to say it's a bad list. I don't even care what the rest of the list is. Mag, Commander, the first thing you add after Mag is Val. Because Val gives a free horse maneuver, or a free maneuver action, I should say. You can use that free action to hurl a boulder. So you just used Val as a free swords long range attack. 100% you should be doing that. So yeah, I fully expect Hurl Boulder to be very good. Even though I don't actually think that the odds are great and the effect is amazing for the game. But yeah, it's a very good card because of the way you use it. If it was a different trigger or was used for something else, I think it would be weaker. But no, being able to just have it basically as this is effectively off NCU for free folk, but we get to use Val instead of a 5 or 6 point. Yeah, that's the thing. Is it on a 33% chance of failing? Pretty sad. Okay. So, last of their kind. Next up, when a friendly giant unit is destroyed, one other friendly giant unit performs an attack or charge. Fine. It doesn't have to target the person who destroyed the giant, which is huge. You just do a free attack or charge. If you're running a mag list, you'll probably have a giant in combat somewhere. I mean, just take a second there. If you haven't got a giant in combat, it's pretty sad. Now, there is a lot to say about activations at this point, because if you're not very careful, you will not have a giant in combat, potentially not even be able to charge, but in the vast majority of cases there will be a giant in melee or within charge range of an enemy unit if you're playing giants. So when a friendly giant dies, having this there, fantastic. Free attack or charge. Never complain about this card. The only thing that makes this bad is that, you lost a giant to do it. That's bad. The trigger. You never want the trigger to happen. But things die. Live with it. It's Game of Thrones. Right. This next one. This was uninspiring. When I saw this card, I was uninspired. In fact, you know what? I felt annoyed in a kind of like, why? Kind of way. Monsters of the North is just, there's too many, but with only monsters. That's all it is. But it happens when the unit activates, rather than just when it's already making a panic test. So it's an extra panic test, which makes it arguably slightly better than a lot of the other, there's too many cards, arguably. But then it's just a panic test at up to -3, okay, -4 potentially with the corpse pile. Yes, Weirwoods exist, Bolden exists, things like this, but just taking the kind of like optimum things there. A -3, -4 panic test, yeah, it's good. I'm not going to say it's bad. It is good. It's just, I was annoyed because it felt like the same design space. They just did copy the card and went, boop, there you go, done. And that's fine. That's fine. And you've got to have things like that. But it's always interesting to see new design space with things like this. So yeah. Yes, having a unit activating to his death is fun. It is. I mean, that is an important case, is that you can kill a unit on activation. So it's, you do something, he activates, dies, you do something again. So it's like 2 back-to-back activations in the middle of a round. So that is like, there is corner case play where this is actually, strictly speaking, a better card. The problem is you're never going to get -3. Running a 40-point list, mag for 9. I'm going to ignore 1/1 for the moment, but 2 giants for 14. That takes you to 23. You can run a 3rd giant if you want, taking you to 30, leaving 10 points left for Val and 6 points for probably like a point unit. Insert 6-point unit here. Palmer, Harmers, Bannerman, Raiders, whatever. Fine, or you're taking mag, giant for the 23, adding in a mammoth or a 4-point unit or a 5-point unit, taking you to 27, 28, 29, leaving 11. I mean, I would go to the 28, makes sense, right? So I'd take a 5-point unit or a 4-point unit with a 2-point attachment. Maybe he's Tormund in Raiders, or Rattleshirt in Raiders might not be a terrible idea. Rattleshirt in Raiders is probably how you get the most use out of this card. And then 3 NCUs. Some people won't run around for 3 NCUs, that's fine. But yeah, you need the activations. So that takes you to a 7 activation list. And yeah, you're going to need to thin them out. So yeah, this card's fine, but you've only got 3 monsters. You've only got 3 monsters in that list. 4 monsters at most, realistically. In most cases, you're going to run 4. Bearing in mind, we haven't even talked about running 1/1 in any of these lists. The maths becomes even harder. Yeah. It's fine. I'm just not sold. Sorry. And Overrun, which is a worse card than it used to be, because you don't get the pivot anymore. It's a worse card than it used to be, but, and here's the big but, it's good in some factions with maneuverability. It's good in Targaryens, because Targaryens can set up so that Overrun is going to hit something. It's a lot harder to set up with infantry Overrun plays, and Giants, for all intents and purposes, are infantry. They don't have cavalry moves. And as a result, Overrun becomes harder to set up, therefore harder to use, therefore less useful. But hey, I'm already seeing it. Last of their kind, charge a giant into an enemy unit after giving it an action from Val to hurl a bowler, soften it up. It enrages, it charges in, or it charges in off. There's whatever. What's the one? I've just said it. Last of their kind, thank you very much. It charges in on a giant's death, it does some damage. You then get to activate the said giant, enrage him, so he gets to hit for 2 more wounds, and he gets the rerolls, puts down a panic. He probably kills that unit for he's just attacked twice, right? He can kill a unit with 2 attacks, we hope. And then, you go Overrun and you go smash into another unit already enraged. And, oh yeah, wow. If it works, if someone does it, send me a video clip of it happening. Send me pictures of it happening. Brian McGonaghy, if he's watching, do a battle report on it, because I know he'll try it, and I know it'll work for him somehow. It will. Yeah. Yeah. Anyway, shrug it off. We saw this with. This is effectively very similar to Jorah's Marshall, along with, I think, Brynden Tully Outrider has it as well. You give up the cav move, or you do a maneuver, but you give it up for restoring wounds. This is fine. Again, you can give this to Lady Val on the tactics board, or taking horses or swords. Give them the action, replace it with 3 wounds. That's really good. Like, that's really good. It's fine. Great. Move on. There's not much to say there. Trample. Trample, but only for giants. And it's the same trample that mammoths have. It is better with small bases, yes. It's not ride by attack though. Maybe they thought ride by attack was too good. It's just D3 wounds. Still don't get to hurt solos. It's still a replacing the charge action. Guess that's okay. I guess you could do Last of the Giants trample. Nah, not sold. And then we move on to 1-1, which we also know came out at 8 points. We already knew that. He's looking good. The thing is, he doesn't really benefit a lot from a lot of the cards that Mag has. Yeah, not looking forward to another monster-themed army. Yeah, the game is really good. Infantry cavalry. Some monster, like sprinkling monsters, I think does make the game interesting. You know, we all love special units and things like that, but having like literal whole themes around solos and things, we saw it at Dragons. They either crash and burn and they're terrible and people hate them, or they're really good. But yeah. Yeah, maybe run 2 NCU, Jesse. That lists the Mag 1/1/2 Giants. Yeah. It's probably okay. Like, you're just short. Your 6 activations is just a short list. And against any half decent player with 6 activations, you'll never control an objective, because they will reach you on parity with you in a lot of cases, and then they'll just do the old retreat 1 inch malarkey and laugh at you. Oh, you charged me? Well, I just retreat 1 inch and I could be on 1 hit point and still control the objective. Yeah, Mythor. 100% Warcry busted ability. 1-1 is good. Like, 1-1 is solid. I just don't think you use him in a mag list, ironically. I think you would, wouldn't you? 1-1 and mag running around together. Oh well, we'll see. Finally, we get onto something a bit different. The House Karstark Spearman coming in at 6 points. Which, like, who cares? You've already got Toast on Shields at 6. We said this the other week, right? Is that I don't think this does anything. The Night's Watch? Sorry, Free Fire. Jesus. Doesn't do anything to Starks whatsoever. It's not bad. It's not a bad unit. Like, it's not bad. It just doesn't do anything. Like, it's not different to a lot of what they already have. So, yeah. You might use these to replace a Tully Sworn Shield unit that you were using previously, I guess. 5 movement over 4. There's been a big debate over it as to which one's better. Because the attack profile is very similar. You just don't get the auto blocks. You get 2+ instead of 4+ if you didn't activate. Stand your ground instead. Yeah. You're not Tully. Keyword doesn't mean anything at the moment. But you're not Tully. Maybe. Maybe this C play. Maybe this is actually secretly really good. But I will say, for now, this is a big old Carlo doubt. I need him back. Oh, yes, 100%. That's exactly what we need. Can be here with us in spirit. There we go. So, move on. And it's Night's Watch time. It's Night's Watch time. So, Night's Watch. They're pretty good. Pretty good. I've heard that Night's Watch are pretty damn good. And they got 1 point Benjin. So let's go through. These are in a semi-random order. So let's see. So 1 point Benjin comes with Sentinel and Ambush. Sentinel, for 1 point, is really good. Sentinel is really good. Having access to Sentinel is really useful. I don't know if this conflicts. It does conflict with Watcher on the Wall, so I don't know if this is required for Night's Watch. But it's still good. Still good. Francesco, can we skip this part? I would, but I've got to be fair to everyone. I gave Free Folk my love. I've now got to give Night's Watch my attention. Okay. Ambush, really good as well, though. On infantry, less likely, but ironically with Sentinel, better. Less valuable in Night's Watch because you already get the equivalent for 3 points in Watch Captains who can use it whenever they want. But this could be a charge or maneuver, not an attack, of course. I do think you'll see Benjin. I think you'll see Benjin see play. The Commander variant of Benjin. He comes with Ambush again and Enhanced Mobility. And he makes unit ranges. We'll come on to that in a minute. Enhanced Mobility is a very good ability. We've seen Rob recently doing, pulling some punches and doing okay. Rob has something similar. I love using Harmer. Attachment who does something similar. Enhanced Mobility is very, very good. Especially if you don't have access to good cavalry. I don't think it means as much in Night's Watch, but I wouldn't put it past them. I would have asked them to be a very good unit. Hit and Run. This is an annoying card. This is a very, very annoying card because this isn't Hit and Run. This is Swift Strike. This is Swift Strike in a card, not Hit and Run as the new ones have been. Harmer has Hit and Run, and Rob has Hit and Run, and both of those commanders have the requirement of the unit being engaged at the start of the attack, or start of the action, I should say. Yeah, the new Night's Watch stuff is going to be banned from tourneys before they get shipped. Yeah, that might be sad. Yeah, this is 1.6 Hit and Run. It's just better. It's just a better card. I know that Rangers don't want to be engaged in combat and all these kind of things. They have a lot of synergy with this, but so does Rob. Rob has the synergy. It just annoys me. It annoys me that this card is just objectively better. It also affects more units. It affects any Ranger unit rather than just Harmer. Or I think Rob's is just everybody. Yeah. So, yeah. Don't like that. Hunter's Insight. This is fine. This is fine. You get to do a shift. You can do reroll attacks, or that enemy can't use orders or be the target for any combat tactics cards. This is a good card. This is Davos NCU if you need it to be Davos. This is reroll attack and charge distance dice when targeting the enemy this turn. That is like free rerolls. That's so many other cards give that kind of effect. So that's great. Be it charge or attack dice. So it doesn't even matter if you're charging through a bog. Really good. And it started for any turn, although that trigger is quite packed for Night's Watch. And a free 3-inch shift for an enemy unit in long range. Yeah, completely fine. This card is really good in Night's Watch. Again, you can see the theme here. The power level of the Night's Watch stuff is equivalent to what we've already seen in Night's Watch. It's just slightly better than other people's stuff. But if everything is better, that leads to a big increase in power level. Yeah. This is the thing, Lucas. Yeah, they forgot to update to fall in line with 2021. It does feel like it. The Night's Watch was just completely missed with the same message. I don't think Benjin's going to be that good because ironically, as we're about to see with this card, the best place for Benjin is actually in not hunters, ironically, in crossbowmen to make them ranger unit, which is just mental. It's mental that we're talking about Benjin Stark, the first ranger, and the best way to use him is stick him in a unit of crossbowmen. Bloody hell. Anyway, lying in wait. Target one friendly unactivated ranger unit in long range of that enemy. That has line of sight. They perform one range attack action on that enemy. This is effectively Bog Devil Ambush from Howland. Oh, lots of names going through my head. This is effectively Bog Devil Ambush from Howland. The one option that Bog Devil Ambush has for this, except it doesn't require Kranich, obviously requires Rangers. It has to be unactivated. Yeah, it's fine. This is a fine card. This is going to get used. It's going to get used. I can see Benjin crossbowmen getting free shots. Hunters might get free shots, of course, because they're usually winning long range, but hunters tend to be quite far away when they're unactivated, and they tend to be quite close when they're activated, because the way that hunters tend to play, you very rarely have a hunter unit that's close and unactivated, just in the way they get played, because usually that's how they get picked off. So yeah, unlikely they're going to be in the short range attack of hunters, but definitely possible, definitely feasible. Of course, we're not even talking about ranger trackers at this point, but similar kind of deal. And then we move on to Cold Hands. I'm just going to straight say this. The reason that the leaks were not shown was partially because of that text right there. Like, that is partially why people were so afraid of the leaks when they got dropped, was that text was like, oh, but it tells you that like Cold Hands is Benjin or Benjin is Cold Hands and things like that. It's like, it doesn't tell you that. It alludes to it. It keeps the dream, or it keeps the meme, or it keeps what's going on there alive. But it doesn't actually say that. So yeah. Why is Carlo turned into Holly? That's all we've got, Grant. That's all we've got. He is actually going to be live with us through my voice in various minutes. But yeah. So Cold Hands for 1 point gives Outflank and Pathfinder. I don't care. Move on. Cold Hands for 1 point on the mounted version gives Sentinel an intimidating presence. You know what's a really good 1 point ability? Intimidating presence. You know what's a really, really good 1 point ability? Sentinel. You know what's really, 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 really good if you give one attachment for 1 point, 2 1 point abilities? Cold Hands. I'm sorry, but if you could happily run this in Flayed Men and double down on Intimidating Presence if you wanted to. You could happily run this in Range of Vanguard. Yeah, Jesse. George has said that Cold Hands isn't Benjin, but all the signs point to it exactly. And you know, people who are close to George then having things on their game which say he's not Benjin, he's not. But you can't run him with Benjin. That would be unfair. 2 points to the Butcher. Nod. You're saying nod. The Butcher's not worth his points. What are you saying about Dragonstone Nobles? That they're not worth their points? Yeah, I mean, Cold Hands should be better, right? He's a named character. He should be better, in my opinion. So that Greyjoys, they did it really well in Greyjoys to have higher value, higher use stuff that isn't, like, ridiculous. So I think they did really well in Greyjoys, in my opinion. This is just nuts, though, because one good keyword is good with a second, like, A+ for a point. 2 of arguably some of the best keywords or like abilities. What are you doing? Especially Intimidating Presence, which is not available in Night's Watch through any other method outside like neutral going into neutrals, which is usually bad, right? What? For 1 point, this is just nuts. Do I think it's going to see play? Ironically, no. But I think you're going to see an Offal build and a John build, and maybe you'll see a Ranger build come up with like that kind of style. I don't know if he will. Maybe he's just Cold Hands goes into a Vanguard unit and just gets added into an existing. Not sure. Right. Cold Hands. The unit. Hedge Knights with Cold Hands. That's the thing, Charles. Definitely, that's the thing. This guy's 4 points. He's not that good. And when I say not that good, he's good. He's really good. He's Night's Watch good, but he's not as good as he looked like in the leaks. In the leaks, Ravenflock did damage, did hits, and it gave -1 to hit. So just imagine Ravenflock being better, and it was when an enemy in long range performs an action. It wasn't even an attack action. You could literally just do D3 hits or like 1 hit per rank. I can't remember which one it was, to a unit in long range every time it activated on an order. And -1. Like, what? It's just nuts. This is less oppressive. The funny thing is that Cold Hands is a counter to ranged attacks. It's any long range attack. He can give it a -1. That's pretty good. That's pretty good. He also never dies, really. He keeps coming back, redeployed within short table edge, and he doesn't come inactivated. So he's always going to be there lurking. Wolf stats in terms of easiness to kill. So he is like a lot of stuff in the game might not kill him in one hit. He also effectively has the solo rider thing, so he can retreat as the first thing he does rather than just maneuver. So he's not just cavalry, but solo rider rules basically. I think he's good. I think he's clearly good. Like, he's obviously good. I don't know if he's that good, and the Ravenflock has been confirmed already that it doesn't work on a charge. And that's big. That's big. It doesn't work on a charge, which immediately makes it less powerful. Still think it's really good. Not sure if it sees play in some of the other lists, though. I don't know if it makes the cut. We'll see if another. Yeah, that's the thing, Jesse. Cold Hand solo actually feels kind of fair, even though I think it's still good, but it still feels fair. Yeah. So we then move into some NCUs. We've got Cruster. Yeah, definitely Daniel. Yeah, Cruster, 4 points, and he's different. He's just completely different. He modifies existing zones for. I think we talked about this last week anyway. He can make bags more than one unit. He can split it about, which is useful. He makes swords have +1 rank, which is fine. And you get +1 move on horses. Like, these are fine effects, like double down on things. I don't know if he makes the cut, personally. I just don't know why you would take him. I guess you could take bags with Cruster at the start of a round after you've done 1 wound to 3 units of conscripts and healed up 6 wounds, and then you take bags and heal those 3 wounds back up, and you're like, hey, I took bags once and I've net 6 wounds. Yeah, whatever. Anyway. This indicates to you my opinion of, and I think Carlo's opinion as well on this. Gilly is 0 points and can only be fielded with Samwell, and it has already been confirmed it's an errata. So before we'll get this out of the way, first of all, her once per game activation does not have to be in the first round, and her not being able to activate doesn't mean the round never ends, right? So it's not an infinitely long game. Some people say, oh, you haven't activated it. Oh, but you can't, so the game's not over. That's bollocks. Right, get rid of that argument. Gilly can only be activated once, and it can be in any round. This would be absolutely nuts. Sam's 5 points, so 5 points for 1 off 2 activations. This would be absolutely nuts in so many factions. Except Night's Watch, where I actually think you don't need this. I actually think this makes your list building harder, and as a result, you won't take it very often. Dan says it's too expensive for an NCU. 0 points is too expensive. Yeah, probably. That's a meme. Sam for 5 points just gets the Tyrion effect, the increased hand size. without the counterplot draw. Yeah, it's fine, I guess. Does Tyrion still NCU still do that? I'm pretty sure Tyrion NCU still. Yeah, it's fine. Like, this is fine, but for 5 points, I think it's probably a bit too expensive for Sam. And it feels like, oh, but Tyrion did this other thing, so we have to give Gilly. And yeah, I'm still not sure if I'd take Sam in some cases. Older versions of this, with older versions of Cold Hands and Gilly and like Corrin, when Corrin was cheaper and things like this. Holy hell, you could have expected some nasty combos. It is a good combo with Corrin. The thing is, you've just invested a lot of points in NCUs and you've only actually got 2 activations. And Night's Watch, like activations, they can reach those parity numbers, and that's the whole point, is that they take a lot of activations and a lot of them are very efficient and very good. Yeah, probably fine in a Gilly list, a 2 NCU list if you wanted to go that way. 2-point version, attachment version of Samwell Tarly. He gets the bookkeeping thing and has Battle Plan, new ability. Start of any turn, discard 2 cards to search your tactics deck for any 1 card, add it to your hand, shuffle your tactics deck. This is Gambit-y style. I drew badly and now I don't have Jaw to get the card I want, so I'll Battle Plan and get the card I want in my hand so I can get it in play ASAP. This is a fine ability. I don't know if he's worth 2 points, and I feel like if you're going to take Sam for 2 points, you're taking up a character slot which you actually don't have a lot of in Night's Watch, because you don't have that many units. And you're taking 2 points for something that Jaw does in NCU, so you're probably not taking Jaw NCU, which gives you points to take something else. If you're not taking Jaw NCU, probably not running Othel. You might be running John, but again, John loves Jaw NCU to get those tempo cards out early. Maybe in a Ranger build, you'd use Sam. Maybe in Ranger Hunters. Not convinced. Vanguards, we've already seen them. They come out at 7 points. Who'd have guessed it? Who'd have guessed Ranger Vanguards are 7 points? Everybody. Everybody would have guessed that they're 7 points. Anyway. Silenced Men for the Greyjoys. 7 points. 7 points is a tough ask, I think. A lot of Greyjoy players were sad. I think if these were 5 points, they'd be silly. If they were 8 points, they'd be utter garbage. I think a lot of Greyjoy players would have set a 6.5 unit, and it's gone up to 7. Yeah, fine. Greyjoy players aren't happy. They're not unhappy. They're not sad. They're just kind of like, oh, well, we'll see how it makes it work. It falls a lot into Greyjoy's thing where a lot of their units are actually probably okay, but they're so build dependent in making them work and list dependent, way more so than other units, it feels like. Especially with the pillage mechanic and how you generate those and how your list is going to function around those pillage mechanics. So yeah. Yeah, we'll see. I think he's probably fine for 7. Probably not amazing. I think you just pick Ironmakers, generally speaking, most of the time. And Targaryens, Blood Riders. People were saying that this was a 9-point unit. People were saying this was a 10-point unit. People were saying anything but you can't make this an 8-point unit because it competes with Flayed Men. And what did they do? They made it an 8-point unit that competes with Flayed Men, and it is probably better. It's actually defensively better. It has +1 morale over Flayed Men, and you add on Iron Resolve from Drogo. That's effectively a 4+ -1 wound unit of Flayed Men. Armor-wise, they have Warcry, which is superb, fueled by Slaughter. Look at that attack profile. You don't even need Fueled by Slaughter. You're a 7/6. You ain't dropping off. These are really good. These are really good unit. Yeah, Jesse, I think a few of us did say it's gonna be 8, but it's a very good 8-point unit. Like, if we're talking about comparing it to Flayed Men, who are the current, like, one of the best 8-point units, if not, well, they are the second-rated component on stats. So out of anything, the second-rated component. They are a very good, if not the best 8-point unit. They are probably the best 8-point unit. This is probably better. It is a character unit, I agree, Jesse, which has some impact in a minute. But as we're going to see, I don't think this being a character unit is as much of a problem, drawdown, whatever. Right. So, Cholo, first of all. He's one of the Blood Riders, one of Drogo's Blood Riders specifically. Can't be weakened and gives battle scars, which I think. What's his face? Belwas gives. Gives Belwas. Fine. 2 points. We don't see attachment Belwas. I don't see us seeing 2-point attachment Cholo. Not being weakened is very good. I just don't see it. The attack stuff only ever affects melee as well. So it'd have to be in Screamers probably. You probably wouldn't want this in Vets. So sorry, Cholo. Probably not going to see much of you solo. Don't worry, you'll be in the Blood Riders. Hago for 2 points. Another one of Drogo's lot. To the Last. This might have value. To the Last has not been a popular pick or popular ability across Night's Watch and Baratheons who have it both. It's not been particularly popular, not been particularly used, so I don't see why this would be picked up in Targaryens as well. Even at 5+ morale, like, it's good. It is good. I don't see it. I think you'll see this. I don't think it's going to be particularly special. Oh, I randomly have Thornwatch in the middle of my Targaryens. Great work, Mickey. They're 7 points. Anyway, next up we've got Quotho, and he's 2 points. He's the last one of Drogo's. He comes with Intimidating Presence and Prey on Fear. Now that combo's quite nice. The +1/-1 and the 2 wounds, no weakened. I can see that coming up in a unit of Vets actually, or perhaps a unit of Screamers more commonly. Yeah, I think that might be an interesting one to see. And after all that, we get to Rakaru. He's missing that key text there. He's not one Rakaro, sorry. He's not one of Drogo's Blood Riders, so he does not appear in the Blood Rider unit when you take Khal Drogo. Drogo, in fact, replaces this bloke. And for 2 points, he comes with Sentinel and Elusive Escape. This is probably a good 2-point attachment, right? This is fine. Until you realise veterans have bloody swift retreat. So, this guy can go in veterans, so they can't be weakened. He can Sentinel veterans in on the charge. He can make them retreat if they get attacked, and they can retreat to the side, weakening their opponent, and their opponent cannot pivot, and they can usually go as far as they need to go with the rerolls. And because veterans get to make an attack on the retreat, right? I am just imagining this. Watch me bring it up behind. Just double checking. I mean, this is a 10-point unit. You expect it to be good, right? But yeah, quick fire after a maneuver or retreat. So you can charge in, bang, hurt them. On Sentinel. They hit you, you can retreat away to the flank, weaken them, shoot them in the flank. And then you can activate. And you can move around to the rear if need be, and shoot them again, or charge them. Against a lot of units, that's dead. Add a dead unit, because these are veterans, remember? These are big, heavy veterans rolling 7 dice every time they do an attack. Yeah, guys might be really good. Anyway. And we're back to the start. Cool. Right. So that's all the stuff covered. That's all of the reveals covered. That's all of the things covered. Should we bring up Carlo's what Carlo said here? Carlo. Where is he? Here we are. I asked him, any thoughts you want to share on any of the stuff? Internal balance has been maintained, i.e., strong factions got stronger, weak factions got nothing of use. And I agree. I think chariots make free folk probably solidly 3. I think they probably overtake Lannisters as the 3rd slot. Perhaps not entirely sold on that, but I do think that's probably the case. Night's Watch got really good stuff, and you probably aren't going to take it because there's already better stuff. Targaryen's got great stuff, and you won't see it as often because there's already really great stuff. The Clegane Brigands just make Hedge Knights look better, and it's sad. People will use Clegane Brigands, but they're not the most ground-shattering unit. They're just fine, I guess. Carstark Spearman at 6, fine. Dawnwatch, I'll repeat what I said. Well, I'll repeat what Carlo said previously about Thornwatch. So yeah, do that again. Yeah, cool. So that's Thornwatch for us. We've then got all of the various other stuff that is coming out, which is just like meh. You know, the Greyjoy Silence Men. Yeah, great. Meh. Don't care. Yeah, rich get richer. The poor, status quo. So yeah, that's the thing. Now, I guess that's all the news-related stuff. I think that's all the stuff there to talk about in regards to this. Now, what is interesting is that obviously this stuff is being shipped. It has been arrived. It's been revealed. It's been unpacked. The news that everyone has been looking for, asking for, wanted to know about. When is this stuff going to be coming out on the builder? As so lovely shown in the background here. It's not going to be in the builder until Carlo returns, because Carlo has to code in. Yeah, Victoria says it there. I'll make them work. I'm just not happy about them. Exactly. Yeah, that's exactly it. And yeah, like the builder won't be updated until Carlo's back from his holidays. We'll see. We'll see what happens with that. I imagine that will be next week, back into next week, hopefully. But we'll see. Can't make any promises. You know, Carlo's the one who has to program in Blood Riders, basically. Pain in the ass. Although he's already got the King Guard coding in there, so it's probably fairly straightforward. Transition it across. So yeah, that's the news, I guess, in that sense. There has been more news. So let us, like any good player. Oh, there's an Axel list randomly. Alex was asking me about that before. I don't know why I've got that available to us. There you go. Right, let's switch it off a second. Up. Okay. Ciao. Right one. So, there were some tournaments revealed over the weekend. There were, I say some tournaments, there were quite a few tournaments held over the weekend. We're going to go through these, going to talk about what they kind of mean, what people can and can't take away from them. So, let's have a little look. We've got this bad boy here, the Italian national event. And I think there was one other event that was started. Yep, that's it. Started off. They run, but I don't know if they've got the results in. We'll have a quick check. Check on that one, definitely. And yes, we'll check on the Wargames ID Team League as well. So, the Italian national event run, and I want to give a massive shout out to the Italian community here. Jasper was in contact with me and Carlo a lot regarding the event and talking about how they'd use the site and things like that. You can see the fantastic banner they have, wicked. They got prize support from Simon, which is really happy. They had 13 players turn up at the event. And I believe they had one person drop out after one round, which is a massive shame. Absolutely huge shame, of course. But we saw Jasper himself win the event. Danny, we saw with Targaryens, we saw Night's Watch come second, and we saw Lannisters come third. Those are the three big ones. Everything after that, everything has got 2 losses. So you're starting to move into like just equal territories there. But the 3 there, Jasper, Bartolucci, and Rutalisk, obviously doing really well with those guys there. The funny thing is, Rutalisk actually beat Bartolucci earlier in the event, but due to secondaries, well, actually in this case, tertiaries, points destroyed, he lost out on second place. So it's a shame for Rutalisk, but still well played by everyone there. And look, it's the top 3 again. Top 3, Targaryens, Night's Watch, Lannisters up there. You move down into the 8-point bracket is where you're seeing Free Folk, Stark, Lannisters, cool. The 6 you've got Lannisters, Free Folk, Night's Watch, Neutrals. I appreciate it. There were 2 Free Folk tournaments entries, 2 Free Folk entries in a 13-player event. Happy with that. You'll notice a complete and utter lack of Baratheons. Baratheons, as it turns out, people don't want to run in Italy. I'd love to know why. Maybe it's because they all believe they're rubbish. Maybe the Italians know something that we don't. I wouldn't put it past them. They're a fairly intelligent bunch. So yeah. That's cool. That's wicked. I also, for what it's worth, randomly came up supporting equality in gaming and all that. But it's also nice to see when women at events like this, because you don't see that many. Obviously, we've got Vicky here, who's massive in the Baratheon community. She goes to a lot of the TTS events, repping her Baratheons as well, doing really well in the King's Road event that I know is being run. So shout out to Vicky there. But you don't see that many women in the hobby. So seeing a woman compete in an Italian tournament, thumbs up. Anytime we can push for equality, and I know I'm not trying to sound like all nuts about this, but it is important that we obviously open the gates to everybody. So anything like that's great. So shout out there to the Italian community there. They did me a massive big one here, and they sent me some pictures. So we're gonna do early this week. We're gonna do a Simon cool mini or not. So let's go. Let's hope this works first time round. Hey, it did work first time round. Right, zoom in. This is the first player's winning army. I guess armies, because you obviously got 2 armies. I like the basing. The basing's really cool. Dario in bright orange as well stands out like a sore thumb over in the other corner. Why is Poor Greyjoy banned, Mikkel? I'm pretty sure because they weren't available in Italy. That's all it is. They weren't available in Italy still. Yeah, cool. Love the paint jobs. Obviously running Flayed Men there. He's got Stormcrow archers with a solid officer. Pikeman. He's running Jorah solo. Khal Drogo with gold horse armor. Love it. 2 NCUs. Only running 2 NCUs in his lists. Interesting. So that's the winning Targ player. Go check his lists out on stats if you are interested. Let's go to the second player. His list, his Night's Watch list. Look at that. He's got right mix of stuff. He's got conscripts in there. The speckling on the bases is really nice. Jesse gave that the last Targs a 10. You are very optimistic, Jesse. This is cool me or not ratings. That was minimum 7 or maximum 7, I should. These guys, it's hard to say. We're obviously not seeing the individual units. But straight away, Tycho's base doesn't fit the rest of the scenery, so this is like maximum 3. Joking, of course. Really like it. Really like the stippling effect, the snow effect. It makes it look like freshly snown mud, if you will. I really like those. Really like those. So I'm going to give that a solid. Which one's better? That is nice. I'm going to give that an 8. And I'm going to give that a 7. Yeah. Cool. We've got in third place, I've got a few of these. You say we don't talk about hobbies enough. The third place Lannister list, respectable. Flame Men in the Snow, whoa, but respectable, kind of like deserty, like terrain, like dust terrain that you'd find outside the Red Keep, or was shown outside the Red Keep in season 8. If anyone can remember season 8, I don't. Yeah, no trees. They look great. They look great for Lannisters. He's stuck with a theme there, the very metallic red. I know a lot of people tend to have a huge amount of like propensity to make Warrior Sons crazy colours, which is great to see. I love the crazy colour Warrior Sons, but he's very much stuck with a theme here of the red and like golds and blacky style. Silver, yeah, really works. Love it. Great, good paint scheme. But will Carlo give a score higher than a 0? Probably not. In all honesty, Carlo will probably not give a score. He'd just be like, it's rubbish, mate. Carlo's a bad person. People forget this. This is the 4th player, his Lannisters, and I love it. I love these. They look really clean, really crisp. It's really obvious who they're supposed to be. I love the crazy hairstyles on the dervishes, the mountain that rides with the rock terrain, like modification he's made there. Great. For a small force, this is spot on. It's cohesive. I love it. Really love it. I'll give that an 8. I really like that. An 8. And this is what won Best Painted Army, right? So just bear this in mind. Or did it? Or maybe I've got another one. So look at those guys. You may have seen a mountain that rides that looks awfully similar to this bloke. This is the one that won most paint, the best painted it was, and you can see that he's gone for the colourful cloaks of the Warrior Sons up this end. There's a little bit of inconsistency in the basing theme, which is always like a downplay in CMON ratings, of course. But the Mountains Men look superb. Like, can we just take a minute to respect this Mountain Men paint job? The non-metallic metal on the swords, making them they look like power swords. They look like a bunch of bloody like Astartes, assault Astartes. You know, these are guys they're coming to rip your head off, and they're coming with these big blades, and they're gonna kill you. Love it. The guard, I mean, the flag looks incredible. Yeah, the shadowing looks like he's actually put shadowings just straight into the flag rather than the natural ripples. Great, and Mount Jamie looks fantastic. Poor Fellows look like Poor Fellows. You know, a lot of people do the similar color scheme, but these look like they've been done well, so that's great. And this is the style of Warrior Sun that I personally quite like. It's gone for like a blue transition through to purple. Really nice there. Love that. He loses a mark because he's coloured around the bases still. Hasn't tied up his bases. How dare you? Absolutely awful. And the mountain that rides. Oof. That is definitely non-metallic metal all over the mountain that rides. In gold armour. On his steed. Can't see the rest of him, so it's not a great angle. And the NCU's there. Ooh, mad respect for that Tyrion base. Insane. Wow. Yeah. So that was the best painted army there. Lockerbie says, Mickey, wait. Okay, Lockerbie, I will wait while I talk a little bit about this best painted army. It is a nice army. Don't go so pass over the Poor Fellows. Poor Fellows for? They're Poor Fellows. No one cares about them. No one cares about Poor Fellows. They're Poor Fellows. It is different tones of skin. I'll give you that. It is different tones of skin. Lockerbie raises a good point. Anyway, let's look at the best painted. No, let's not look at the best painted. Yeah, let's look at the best painted unit. This is what won the best painted unit, the best solo unit, or the best painted unit, and that is really nice. The sheen looks genuinely real. I'd have thought that that's a light shining down. It's non-metallic metal. You can see the scratch marks in the metal as well, certainly towards the back of the horse, front. Some of this will be obviously like its scars and things in the model itself, but yeah, it's a really nice paint job. Lovely, clean, crisp, simple. Actually, it looks like a very simple paint job, and I mean that in a nice way. As in, he didn't try to be overly complex. He just did all of the basic things really well. So yeah, thumbs up from me. Well done. And finally, just to finish it off, one more picture of the event itself. There you go. So there's the Italian national event being played in what looks like to be a convention. So, you know, not just playing the event, but getting passers-by watching and getting people involved in the game. More importantly, getting people who have never seen the game interested, doing events like this at cons. Certainly these big, like, cons in your country, where you can entice new people to watch and new people to get into the game, rather than established places which are just like, this is where this thing happens. You're not going to get footfall that day. You're not going to get new people into the game. It's only the people you're expecting in on that day. That's really huge. You know, we've got some in the LGT. We're going to get some of that because the LGT is not just one game system. It's lots of game systems. So we're hopefully going to get loads and loads and loads of players come through, but the Italians there as well doing that, and that's fantastic to see. Really good. Really sounds like it was an absolutely fantastic event. Sounds like everyone enjoyed it. The prize support they said was great, and the CMON support they did get from CMON Organised Play was fantastic. So yeah, well done to Jasper winning nationals as the national champion from the weekend. So yeah, well done there. So that was the Italian national event. Obviously, all the lists are available on stats. I'm not going to go through everything. We've already seen the pictures of these guys, but it is Drogo in Flame Men with a dragon. We've seen that before. Neutral Dario. Wow, pushing the boat out with his NCUs and that setup there. So check them all out on stats, of course. Next up, we have got the Russian TTS finals, which have kicked off this last weekend. They haven't played any games yet, and they haven't locked them, so I can't see the lists. Oh, I'm sad, but they've got 7 players playing in the Russian TTS finals. I think they're waiting maybe for the 8th player. I'm expecting there to be an 8th player. Yeah, that is going to kick off. See how that one wraps up, or how that one goes. This event, the one in Leipzig, I think went ahead. Just the one that got cancelled. I can't remember. One of them got cancelled and one of them went ahead. I'd have to check. I think the results are there, but they're not in stats yet, so you won't find them there. But I think it did run. I think that one did. This one in Canada, again, I believe did run. The Canadian event did run. I can't remember what went on. I think Steve from Lords of the North set it up. If I remember, I'd have to double check. But yeah, getting Tony Hart vibes from the painting review. I'm assuming that's a good thing. Is it a shame? Simon's going to be really disappointed in me. Is it a really bad thing that I don't know who Tony Hart is? Oh no, I do know who Tony Hart is. Oh wow, yeah, no, I know who Tony Hart is. Yeah. It took me a second to recognise his face. Well, I appreciate that. I appreciate that, Simon. He was a very respectable gentleman. And hilarious. I think he used to be involved with Morph, wasn't he? If people in the UK, Blue Peter and the Morph. Yeah, great. And then we had the Wargames ID event kickoff as well last week, or this week. This is a team event, right? And this is for people in the Indonesia region. And it's a team event, and I believe they're teams of 3. Okay. I do have the list of teams somewhere, and I will have to go and find them quickly for you all. But I think I can't remember where they are. I'm sure I'll find them. But yes, the teams are up. They're going. Yeah, they're getting games in. Spleen there getting his win in round 1 against Ardeep. This is the kind of thing where people are looking to try out alternatives, right? You see Claw running Night's Watch. Claw runs a lot of Night's Watch. He's a Night's Watch player, but the moment you look at his lists, like they are not traditional. Like you want to say like not meta defining or not meta Night's Watch. This is how you run not meta Night's Watch. He's running neutral commanders, running attachments that people don't run. He's running Vargo for God's sake, man. He's running Vargo command, which I know Bob did. So kudos to Bob. But he's running Ranger Trackers. No one sees Ranger Trackers. You want to run off meta Night's Watch. This is how you do it. But it is still Night's Watch. You know, lots of Targaryen players, lots of Lannister players, Free Folk, which is great. No neutrals. Really sad. There's a Greyjoy entry. Cat Dad for Greyjoys. Good man. Love to see some Greyjoys in there. Baratheon's one entry as well. Ardeep betraying his Baratheon roots and going back to Targaryens. Just disappointed. We're not sad. We're just disappointed. So that event is kicking off as well, and I'm sure lots of things will come through from that event. Yeah, so that was the weekend. There's been lots of support from Simon going out to national events all over the country, all over the world, I should say. So from Italy, the US, Canada has been getting them. We've obviously got stuff sorted for the LGT. Yeah, everything's looking pretty good, which is great. It's great to see organised play come through and actually provide for the tournaments and for the organised play scene, or the tournament scene that has been attempting to run through lockdown and is now benefiting from the small amount we could do from lockdown with players turning up and still playing the game. Growth is coming in some areas. We're getting more players in some parts of the world coming back to the game, which is great. And overall, the game is in recovery still, right? I mean, a lot of games are. Very few games came out of COVID well. But yeah, A Song of Ice and Fire is definitely still in recovery. But there's a pulse. You know, we're not talking about flatlining and we need some kind of defibrillator. Being said, we still haven't seen faction packs hit shores of anywhere else outside of Russia, not Russia, or the Asia region. We are still waiting to hear about faction packs in the UK. I think it is getting to the point. I mean, we are effectively 20 days out now from the GT. I am not going to have a Free Folk faction pack to play the London GT with, which means I doubt many players will have their faction packs, which means I doubt that many players will be running into the event with everything, which means that players must have to print off their stuff. I'll reiterate this for any players in the LGT. Please come with printed stuff. There might be things that you can borrow, but I'm talking like one set across a whole 60 players. That it's not feasible for us to prepare for that many, not knowing the splits as well that far in advance. If you are attending the LGT, please sign up for the event. You know, the event is on stats. Please sign up, get your lists involved. I obviously don't have access to all these lists as it stands, but we've only got 35 players signed up. There is space there for you to sign up. There's plenty of space to sign up for the LGT, get tickets and things. As it stands, we're expecting mid-50s, I think, assuming dropouts are what we assume are gonna be. Yeah, just play Greyjoys, no need to print anything. Very true, except objective decks, of course. But yeah, 100% get down to the LGT if you are based in the UK and you've got players. I know that there are some clubs which have been hesitant. Some people have dropped out as individuals for various reasons. Get yourself down. It's still looking to be the biggest event of 2021, which, okay, that's not saying much. It is certainly looking like to be the biggest event in the UK, second only to Master of Westeros in Europe. So, yeah, 100% get yourself get down. There's gonna be stuff. When's the list deadline? The list deadline is the week before the event. The list deadline, I think, is about 10 days from now. If I say 10 days from now, Duggars, I think that's fairly certain. I'd have to double check, and I'm sure Leet Teddy will tell me in chat that I'm horrifically wrong. but I'm certain that the list lock is on that date. You know what I could do? I could actually just open up the bloody tournament pack, which would be the obvious thing to do. But yeah, fairly certain. I can't find it now. Oh god, I'm an idiot. Fairly certain that it's in the it's in 10 days time, roughly speaking. Load it up quickly. ELO format. That's the ELO format. This is the ELO format. I know when ELO format's going live. Ah, well, there you go. Clearly, I'm an idiot and haven't got the right pack. I'll open the right pack. Next Saturday, Lee. Next Saturday. As in this Saturday coming up? Wow. Yeah, that's a lot sooner than I thought. The list lock is the 18th. Yeah, 18th. So literally 10, 12 days from today. So yeah, cool. Do sign up to the event ASAP so we can get an idea of numbers and people can understand what we're expecting. People can start, practicing, finalizing, things like this. Makes the whole process a lot easier if you're already signed up on stats. We do not want to have to, but we may have to. Well, not me, but people may have to be turned away at the event because they haven't signed up in time. It's same as any process for events. Sign up before the date and get yourself involved. So there we go. That's all the news that I was going to cover. And yeah, I can't think of anything else that I want to talk about today. So yeah, I think it's going to be the LGT is going to be a big event and hopefully lots of CMON support. I will obviously mention the US Nationals that ran over the weekend. Some of the lists have been shared. I can't talk about it at all in detail. I haven't got access to all the information. And without any of the players, they didn't use stats, which is fine. Obviously, it would make a lot more sense for them to use stats, but that comes down to individual choice. Without access to all the information, I can't make any assertions to what was good and what was bad. I've seen lists and I've seen, standard meta lists get played, or at least deviations on standard meta lists get played. The last I'd heard, it was a 12-person event on the Sunday, a 14 on the Saturday. So it's equivalent to the Italian event, basically. Held at a local store, which has its own problems. I know the store's great. Talk about ostracizing other stores and things. I know a lot of US players are very frustrated. So yeah. There is, of course, Bob's ELO event. How could I overlook the beautiful Bob? I've actually, random other piece of news I should tell you all as well. Yes, the ELO event is coming up. Bob's ELO event, on us talking about running an ELO event, he just went, sod it, I'll do it. And he ran an ELO event, which is great. Takes the pressure off my back. They guys can do it. They're brilliant guys. They know how to run an event. I'm not going to, it's not worse or better. It is just going to be a good event. Bob's going to be great. Bob is great. Chris is great. So yeah. They've taken out Here We Stand, which, by the way, if Bob is listening in this pre-recorded, like listening to this on return, whatever, yes, you legend, Bob. You clearly listened to my advice. Take out Here We Stand. It sucks. But yeah, it's an ELO event. There's 48 players signed up. There is actually no cap. I'm not signed up as it stands. I'm working out whether I can or not with other commitments, time things. I am very interested. Lists are not locked. It's this weekend, list locked coming up for the first round to start on next Monday. And yeah, loads of players. You can see it's massive international levels of players. You've got the likes of classics from this place and Sunday Slaughter. Sunday Slaughter, Stovetop, and Scabman. We've got Griffin. We've got Mizitude. I'm not going to read through all of these. Jabor, not a name I've ever heard. Carl Black, who's changed his name to Black, which I feel is very convenient. That is a good nickname. Yeah, well done. Likes of Sultan's returned. I haven't seen Sultan play in a while. POG from the Argentina. I know that Andy's been trying to get games from Argentina, so that's great to see. Got Francesco coming back into the scene from Brazil. Fantastic. Makista's returning. Good to see as well. Who else have we got that I don't recognise? Oh, yeah, the Russian lot, the Lordic and some of the other players from Russia, Sigwolf, either. They're all getting involved, which is fantastic. The Russian scene has always been like Lordic and like one or two others. So it's fantastic to see the Russians really piling in on this event. That's really great. Larks has decided to re-enter. Big man Larks. I love that. Mother Russia. Who else have we got that's a bit different? More Russians. Trash Panda Bats, which I think is his first event. He's running online on TTS. The Trash Panda. Going to be good to see him in an online event. And Golden Boy, another Indonesian who I think I'm not familiar with. Or might be Polish. No. Yes, Polish. Yeah, red lines on the bottom. Polish. Yeah, so that's great to see. Nearly 50 players to that event. I might be joining. I'm sure there might be one or two other people on the fence about it, not the offense. So get involved with that. I know as well that I will give them a shout out. The Rocket City tournament. They've just started pushing for the Rocket City tournament that's going on in this time next month in October. So huge shout out to the Huntsville, Alabama guys for pushing that, started advertising for that, getting people involved, getting people to try and sign up. Those guys have been putting on great events, great small events for people in the local area. They're looking to grow the scene. They're looking to get some people from outside Huntsville involved as well. And they've got the quarterly events now happening, which I think is fab. What a great way to set the system up there. The Cerberus event, I've seen a few people, including Alex, Born to Death. He's been asking for Cerberus ideas, so the 3-list event happening in PA, in Coropolis. So that's great to see as well. That's going to be running soon, same weekend as the ELO event. Sorry, not the ELO event, the Grand Tournament. So we'll check out that as well, see how that went. And other upcoming ones in the meantime, there's another Polish tournament. The Polish absolutely love their tournaments. Just respect this. They've got, one in Powdale and one in Poznan, basically on the same day, which is insane. So it's fantastic to see. And another event happening on the Saturday as well. Polish people love their tournaments. Absolutely love seeing this time and time again. So Polish players, if you are listening in recorded or live, keep it up. You're doing a great job. And yeah, I think that's it. You can tell I'm rushing through these, can't you? I've been here for an hour and 34 minutes solo, and my voice is screwed. It's getting screwed. So yeah, the other piece of news I wanted to go through is I've been talking with the winners from the NRG event, trying to sort out prize support and things like this, and the way that we were going to do prizes. Some things that I wanted to do fell through, partially because of shipping and like bulk costs and things. Some designs and certain things that I wanted to do are looking pretty grim. But also, some of the players have straight up said, "Look, don't want a prize," which is insane. Because it was a free entry that we put up prize support for. So as it stands, Bob, Leica, Ross and Scadman have all said that they're more than happy to donate theirs to charity instead of the price support they were going to get. So the equivalent cost going to charity, which is looking like, as Scadman has told me just before Tourney Ground, he's interested in a child poverty style charity or another charity. I was going to donate it to cancer myself because that's one that holds a lot of meaning to myself. But we'll have a little vote on it, nice and simple, and we'll donate the equivalent cost to charity, which is great. Can't complain at that. For any players who did win a prize and you haven't commented on how you want to do it, please do ASAP. You don't have to say, look, I want to donate my money to charity. These are individuals who said, I don't want that. I don't want the prizes. Don't worry about it. Their choice of prize as well, which is insane. But they've been saying these things, which is really heartfelt. I really appreciate that. Lockerbie, you're saying there, leave a comment and thing, so I've got it there, Lockerbie. Do me a favour. But that's fantastic. I will, so people know, I'll take a screenshot of when we make the donation to charity, and I will put it on screen so you can see it in Tourney ground, so you know it's been made. On the back of the great players, the absolutely fantastic players who want to do that. So I wanted to give a shout out to those. For those players who aren't interested in doing that, and you want to take the prize support, that's not a problem. Don't feel like encouraged to do the charity thing. That's those players' choice. That was never the intention. The intention was for you to get prizes. Please respond to that prize message I sent out, because then I can sort it out for you. And stuff is awesome. So, yes. Aside from that, guys, I am going to leave it there today. It's only been an hour and 40 minutes, give or take, hour and 30, if you count the fact that I was a bit late. I'm going to leave it there for today. I'm sure you can all cope with that. If anyone's got anything else they want me to talk about, feel free to send me a message or bring up next week. I will be running solo again next week with no Carlo, so I am going to look for a guest to come on next week, talk about some of the stuff that they've been doing. If we can get Bob involved with the ELO event, maybe we'll see if we can ask Bob, Chris. We'll see if Brett wants to come on. We can see if Brett wants to come on, talk about events in general, or talk about his experiences. We might even see if Jasper can come on as a Nationals winner. We will see who is available, and we'll see who can make it. But between now and then, guys, thank you very much for coming in. Carlo misses everybody. He says he's sorry he can't be here. He's absolutely devastated he couldn't spend another hour and a half to 2 hours chatting with you about all the awesomely cool things happening. No, he didn't. He lied. I just made that up to make him sound nice. He hates everyone. So yeah, have a great week again, guys. Good luck in any games. Good luck to Vicky in her Kings Road game. I know she's got one Kings Road game left. Good luck there. Good luck to all the ELO players who are going to be kicking off probably over the weekend or on Monday. Good luck to the guys TTS events around the world, and of course in any in-person events that happen as well. So until then, guys, take it easy. Ready, aim, release! Anyone see my mammoth?